Welcome to 𝐄𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐂. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. It's the quarter time of 9:50 a.m. on the Eastern Time on Friday, September 23rd. The overall market is relatively red at the moment. With respect to Ethereum, currently down about 2.73%, trading at the approximate level of support of 1250. With respect to Bitcoin, that's 18,500, down currently 3% so far. And on the media affectation front, obviously today is a Friday, so we're having that typical, Friday or weekend affectation that we're seeing. Seems like there's a higher weighted selling pressure than buying pressure today. And if you take a look at the equity side as well, just taking a look at CNBC, if I'm just shifting my screen real quick, you could see that across the spectrum, Dow Jones, S&P, Nasdaq, Russell, all down about 1.5% on across the spectrum on average. The VIX, which is the volatility index, is currently up about 6.11%. And with respect to the breaking news that CNBC is talking about right now, obviously we are seeing some sell off, and it's breaking below the 30,000 mark, which is a sizable and monumental level. But it's really coming from the fear, right? That is the Fed overdoing the inflationary pressure fight by raising the rates a little bit too aggressively, right? Is the Fed like basically pushing the entire economy in the U.S. into oblivion and subsequently into recession? Or are we in a recession already? So it seems like there are a lot of psychological roller coasters that we've been seeing so far. But in a more of a logical perspective, obviously we've had the, sell the rumor, buy the news, or buy the rumor, sell the news type of affectation in a postmodern perspective from our recent, if you talk about chronologically, a negative CPI report, a neutral PPI report, right, and then subsequently, on the subsequent week, which is this week that just passed, or is passing as we speak, the FOMC meeting depicting on the 75 basis point. And collectively, it's been three times consecutively of 75 basis point rates. And there seems like, based on the recent verbiage, there's no reason for the Feds to stop anytime soon until we can pull the brakes. So it seems like we're still just reacting on a monthly perspective, looking for a turnaround, but it seems like there is no tactical nature or proactive nature on this turnaround going forward. Okay, so across this morning, we're also seeing other news. Seems like the British pound has plunged and bond crash after government announced tax cuts. This is something that the government is struggling with, which is driving some stir onto the British equity side as well, if you see across the market. And then obviously with respect to seems like there's still some stir around the war going on with Ukraine and Russia. It seems like Putin is, incredibly dangerous. I don't know what that means particularly. Nuclear threat increased the risk of unprecedented disaster. I mean, he is getting pushed to the corner, right? From the recent United Nations speech from Joe Biden himself and other national heads as well. So it seems like across the board is relatively mixed. These are the news are not that relevant. But let's take a look at the 24-hour time frame with respect to the purchasing behavior by the whales. So it seems like ARK Invest on a high level, you could see clearly they have been quite active in terms of selling a bunch of stocks on particularly yesterday. And seems like the selling pressure continues, so it seems like they are selling more. But this is more of a balancing act rather than an actual, try to dump the market. On the opposite side of the spectrum, you could see that BlackRock has been quite active in the recent time frame. They bought quite a sizable amount of Texas Instruments and Broadcom recently, particularly $2.1 billion of Broadcom Inc. or AVGO. And so that's it seems like they did that on particular reason. I'm assuming there's some micro and macro specificity with respect to why they did what they did. But yesterday was definitely a big green buying day for them. But obviously, this is just one institution. But across the market, with the fear that's cultivating in the overall psychology of the market, it is still leaning downwards from here. So seems like ARK Invest definitely bearish. BlackRock is probably a balancing act, but obviously it's not. There's nowhere near the amount that they sold in the previous days. But certain stocks are obviously overreaching to a technical level that's too submerged that it needs to be recuperated by buying at a normalized level. Some of these trades that you see in front of us on BlackRock front might be algo trade that is done by computers. As it hits to a certain level of threshold, right? So let me just dive back into the technical without wasting more time. With respect to recording time of approximately 10 a.m. on the Eastern time, we are at 12.85. So just $30 above 12.50. So right now you can see that we broke 12.20 earlier. It was, I would say, 12 hours ago. And right now, with respect to the daily chart, it is looking for some sort of level down to a support level of 32 out of 70. And then with respect to the weekly, you could see that we still need to cross down, eventually cross up, and unfortunately this is a double head, so this indicates that we will see some more negativity coming before we actually rebound. And then on a monthly, we are still looking for a landing zone, which we have not really crystallized yet, so we need to kind of formalize this landing path until we can recuperate from there. So it's quite worrisome, with respect to can we sustain this current level. I think the likelihood of us sustaining the current level would be low, knowing the fact that it is showing a reversal on the technical level on the RSI on a daily. It is showing a bearish trend looking to cross down on a weekly. And on the monthly, looking for some plateau that needs to be landed. So something to think about and be aware of. We might see more negative pressure in October, and so as we are crossing over the path of September. And then with respect to Bitcoin, you can see that monthly we are looking for landing zone as well. But there's still some lag with respect to the MACD, so there needs to be some more normalization downward. On a weekly, you need to kind of cross down. So there's double heads. So that needs to be kind of corrected. On a daily, you could see that the trends is not really in our favor. It's getting canceled out again at 43 out of 70. So heading to a lower level again, right? 17,500, 15,500 would not be a surprise. It might happen actually during this weekend. Ideally, maybe Sunday, or as we're shifting on to Monday, depending on how the other side of the world are thinking about the economy as well, right? Seems like the inflationary pressure is not just happening with respect to US, but globally as well. So we have to see how the other side, obviously, overseas in China, most people are asleep or going to bed right now. So it's not the most active. But, as the day, durates and we cross over the path onto the other side of the time zone, we'll see how that will triangulate as they're shifting onto the weekend, right? So appreciate you. Have a good day. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to go to a gala later today, so this will be my first and only video. But if I could squeeze some time in, I might do another one. But if in the meantime, just let me know how I can help. Take care.